Welcome to the Leadership Expose podcast. This podcast is for purpose-driven leaders at diverse levels and organizations around the world who are seeking to scale and transform their leadership, to level up their business, and to create an impact on the lives of people all around them. Business and boardroom topics, trends, innovation, transformation, and the intersection with leadership is the focus. We enable success. I'm your host, Stephen Paul. In this episode, I'm pleased to invite Virginie Guignard Legros. She leads with 200 plus other organizations with other communities and is a force for innovative proposals for the wider ecosystem in education, social, physical, and digital territories. In a wider context, she is an ecosystem builder and helps people, in particular victims of war, climate, pandemic, to empower themselves through skills and intellectual knowledge in terms of human organization, design of technologies, innovation, and structure of the digital age by enabling an ecosystem of co-creation, collaboration, artificial intelligence, blockchain, and so forth. We will hear about this and how Virginie is building out governance platforms and technology unicorn evaluations to fund specific parts of organizations across the ecosystem. Virginie, welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm well, thank you. And I'm very pleased to be with you in this podcast.
Wonderful, wonderful. You know, Virginie, just before we started the podcast, we were exchanging where we're based. And, you know, I'm based here in the UK. For our audience purposes, tell us where you're based.
I am based in Switzerland. I am in the mountain, 1,000-meter high, and between Lausanne and Geneva.
Wonderful. You know what, just as you described it, I was vicariously living through your location of living in the mountains, on top of the mountains. It must be such a great feeling.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place. Some people said it's the most beautiful place of Switzerland, but I'm not sure. You know, we have to be realistic with that. But we have a beautiful lake and a huge forest around, you see, and a lot of sportive activities, and and fresh air, and it's a good place to stay with family, you know, and I've got my children with me, so it's a nice place to be and to live. Yeah.
Wonderful. So very keen to hear about your journey. So tell us briefly about your personal journey, that intersection with your professional journey, and how you've come about to what you're doing now, and then we can talk a little bit more about specifics. So keen to hear about your journey.
Oh, my journey starting like I was an artist when I was little children. I was a painter, and I was doing exposition with professional painters, you see. And after I had this choice of my profession later. And in fact, I had no choice. My father told me, you will be an architect. Okay. So I have done the studies to be architect, and I have worked as architect for 15 years, you see.
Okay.
And after I have met my husband, the man who will be my husband later, and I settled in Switzerland because I am coming from France. Yeah. I'm French at the beginning, and I was a director of communication for him, for the industry of the cinema, pictures industry, music industry in Switzerland for a decade. And after, when we separate with my husband, it was time for me to decide what I can do which could fit me as I am, you see. Mm-hmm. So I have done a lot of experimentation in artificial intelligence, in collective intelligence. I was in the first group of cybersecurity women, the first group of blockchains, women in blockchains, and so on. And it was 10 years ago. So now I have a lot of friends. Some of them have unicorns because they had a lot of success.
Yeah.
But I met them 10 years ago, and I was a teacher for a while. I was coordinator of online courses about project management.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of alumni worldwide in French-speaking areas, and half of them were in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a lot of possibility to work with Africa. So we have done a lot of things with this continent.
Mm-hmm.
Now we are spreading a little more in US just now.
Yeah.
And I've decided this summer that we have to settle in Switzerland too, because we are involved with fighting the poverty, to help the victims. And now with economics crisis arriving, everyone worldwide could be affected with this crisis. So even in Switzerland, where the level of life is very high, one of the highest on the earth, but there is some poverty with old people who have little retirement, you see, with families with a lot of children who have little income. And with this crisis, we have seen with COVID, the cost of the food have leveled up to 17%. It is huge for a little budget. So some people have false at false, and now we try to sustain little budget and to avoid them to fall in the future by little action. You see, in Occident, one of these little action is to create a database of recipe, cooking recipe with to make healthy meal with little budget and with basic products, because a lot of families are used now to buy products who are already cooked, but they are more expensive. So now we have to rediscover again this little recipe, this little thing which can help us, everyone, because even if you are rich, you will be less rich with these problems of crisis. Everyone could be interesting by using this little knowledge, you see, little or big knowledge, it depends, to help them to be sustainable front of this crisis arriving, because COVID was a first crisis. We have seen the economical impact, on the world. It was more between enterprises, the connection, buying, selling, exchanging, you see. And the virus too, but the impact was more in the enterprise. But with this crisis arriving now, it is a crisis of energy, a crisis of food. So everyone will be impacted, you see. And so it is a huge mission of us, and now we are trying to find some partners to help us to fit in our programs, because we do social programs and we do digital too, and we do urbanism program too. But for social programs, we will need the help of everyone. So we do a lot of coordination of the civil societies,
That's an interesting, and there's quite a few things that you just mentioned there. We were talking earlier on as to some of the areas of your focus, and you mentioned about 3 specific strands. Tell us a little bit more about those specific areas of focus and what that actually means to people.
In fact, we are doing social programs, you see, which are based on huge communities of angels network. Angels networks is a human networks made of benevolent and voluntary people who are recognized in their communities to have done the fair actions and to have given the wealth to their community. And it is artificial networks of trust. We are working a lot in Democratic Republic of Congo, in the most dangerous areas of the Africa, North Kivu, South Kivu, and Ituri. A lot of violence, a lot of actions against humanity. So we have settled this network first in this place. Now we are spreading in US too, and we start in Switzerland. And it is a powerful tool because when you have no more trust in the future because of economics, because of violence, because you can have people around you in who you can have trust. And trust is the basis of everything in a society. We have seen with COVID. With COVID, everybody was afraid of the other, you see. So they didn't trust anymore with the other people. So it is a huge problem of mental health, you see, and it has a lot of the fact that there is no more trust in a society is making a lot of impacts for the future, you see. So it's a part. So we are doing these social programs. In these programs we have, for example, a label about called Living Water, for example, which is made to help people to be respectful with the water, because with no water there is no more life, you see. So it is important. We do urbanism program too, because a lot of cities have been a lot of cities were old colonies, as the problem of the old cities with very old cities, but well done, really a real city, you see, with a street and so with shops and so on. And around these cities you have a mix of every kind of house built with what they have found around them, you see. So it's not a real town around these towns, you see, but there is a lot of people, and more people who are living around the old town. So now with the climate change, these cities has no trees, has no parks, and we know that the future of the cities with the heat will be in the natural ways of modulate the temperature, and the best way is to have trees, for example. And in all these cities there is no trees, you see, and so it's a problem. And for example, if you have a fire, you are not able to arrive to the fire because there is no, the streets are not enough big to let the truck arriving to the fire, you see, and things like that. So we are working on this news of this. We are trying to create sustainable cities for citizens with the ability to live with all the services they can ask from a city, you see, because if you are in a city made with rubbish and things like that, you see, it's not a real city. It's just people living just stuck. It's not a fair way to let people live in, you see. So we are working to
no, go on. I was just gonna ask.
And and the first part we are working on is digital, because from the beginning we were asked to help huge communities. First communities who asked our help was 47,000 of official victims of war in Ivory Coast. So that means that with their family, it's a population of 5 million of people. And later we were asked for the big organization who settled, who was looking about all these victims organization in the Ivory Coast, asked for our help too. So it was bigger than the first one. And now we are working, by example, in Republic Democratic of Congo. We are looking after a population which is around 25 millions of people, because the towns are huge. And we are looking about towns between 200,000 of people from 200,000 to 2 millions of people. For the moment, we stop at 2 millions because bigger for us is not. We have to have the best programs for this scale, and when our programs will fit and will be very efficient for this level of number of population, we will switch, by example, to Nigeria, because we have a lot of demand in Nigeria, but the capital is 25 million or 22 million. So for us, it's too big now. But now we are dealing with towns between 200,000 of people to 2 million, from 200,000 to 2 millions of people, which are big, big cities, already big cities, you know. And now, but it is human scale. You see, it is still a human scale, because when you arrive to a city 10 times more bigger, it is not human anymore. And I think we will manage them with part of the town. You see, you can't take a globality with a city of more than 10 millions of people. You have to cut the cities in different territory to have efficient work. It is what I think.
No, finish off. I just had a couple.
It is what you know. The first we have done a competition a long time ago about 12 people to get out from poverty with an X Prize of Peter Diamandis in US, and I have written a program to help people to get out from poverty, 1 million by 1 million. You see, because I think there is a limit that on which you can manage a huge community. You see. So and for a ton, or on the limit of us for a ton which is already existing is 2 million for the moment, but you see, 1 million is easy to do. It is easy to do, because you know, you start with by example, you start with a village of you take 10 people, 10 person, 5 from the village and 5 from other village. You see, you train them to some subjects. It can be any kind of subject, you see. And after, when they are finished, the 5 in the village stay in the village to teach the population, and the 5 other go back in their village and start new training in their village. So in 3 years, you start from 10 people, and in 3 years you arrive to 1 million. You see, because we have processing to train people peer to peer, and to train people with quality, because we try to find in this first nodal, we can say, of training, we try to find the best who are able to teach other people in other village around, you see. And if we haven't these people, we will wait for the next training to find the people who could be able to go.
So I have got so in essence, basically, you've got 3 things. So one is the social aspect, the second is the urbanization, and the third is the digital aspect. So are these all focused on certain types of markets, like emerging markets, or is it global?
We have 2 levels, in fact. First level, if we talk technology, because we are doing governance technology, because with this huge amount of people, you see, you have a limit with human interaction. So we need to have technologies to help us to manage this population in a better way, you see. And I give you the example of technology because it's easier for you to understand. The technology now, they are built by companies who are funded by investors. So it means that the technology can be influenced by the investor. So we don't want our technology to be influenced by people out of our projects, you see. We want to create fair technology, neutral technology, who deals to manage, to govern huge communities. Our technology can be used to do votation, can be used to do digital identities, to manage data governance, and so on. You see, we have 26 modular of breakthrough technology to be done now. We have started, and we need this technology to be neutral. That means that means that we can't finance this technology with classical finance, you see.
Yeah.
So we create the MVPs, the minimum viable product, with donation. Like that, we control all the technology. And in the same time, in the deal, we make this technology affordable or free for our community. And after, to sustain this technology, we launch them on public markets, and we ask for investors, but the technology are already done, and we open them to the global market.
So can you give an example in real terms what you mean by governance technology? Can you give an example of the different players? You've mentioned investors, you've mentioned a few. Can you just give an example of that? Because it's an interesting piece.
In fact, when you build, I go back just before, when you build the technology, you make choices, you see, because you want to launch this technology to some markets, you see. In some technology, we know that there is some backdoors, because for the future, maybe they would it's not to spy, it is just
so in essence, when you're actually when companies, or any companies for that matter, are creating technologies and they're looking to release it to, let's say, country XYZ or to any other country globally.
Yeah.
Okay, so where do you come into the picture?
In the picture,
so you have a company there that's creating technologies there that's going to be used. So where do you come into the picture is what I'm trying to understand.
But in fact, we are creating our own ecosystem, you see. We are creating an ecosystem in the deep web. You know, in the deep web, for the moment, there is a dark web. But we want to create a fair web. That means it is a part of the web which is made for families, children, for enterprise who want to do fair activities, you see. So it is a point. So that means that we are creating this ecosystem, which are we call these ecosystems. It could be one or several ecosystems, which they are called sphere. Sphere, in fact, can be made for children. You can have a universe of children. You can have a universe to do businesses. You can have a universe for families with good content. You see, We have several processing, to control the information who will stay outside of the sphere and the good content that we evaluate as good content who can enter in the spheres. You see, so we expect to have no problems with the fake news, which is a huge problem now. We have seen with COVID.
Who to trust?
The trust is not there anymore because we don't know what's the truth. It is an enormous problem we have now, and it is the same for climate, because some people say there is no climate problems, and other people say there is a huge problem climate. We are on the side of huge climate problems because we are dealing with population who are losing the quarter of the town every winter. They lose some homes. By example, in Uvira, in December, we know that 15,000 of people will lose their home because of the Lac Tanganyika, because there is too much rains, and so we know there is it is scientists you see observation about climate, that this part of the town will be destroyed in next December. You see, that it's a huge problem, but this so we want to evacuate them before the disaster, but now the structure worldwide we can't do, because the structure is made to fund disasters, the help around disasters, so there is no money to help people in the prevention of disaster, because we know when the sea is level up, we know exactly which next quarter of the town will be destroyed in most of the town worldwide, but no one is doing nothing because they don't want to see, and there is a lot of fake news around the climate. So the people who don't want to see say, but you see, who we have to believe, because you have this news and you have this other news, which are not the same. So you see, but so it is a part of our action too.
So that's very helpful to learn, about the sphere and how you're actually integrating into it, or actually managing it through that governance framework that you described. So if I'm a business or a individual or a leader that's looking to engage with what you're doing, what do I need to do, regardless of who I am? How do I engage with you?
The best way is to engage like an angel, because technology will take time to be done, all to be done, because we need money for that. But the human action is a basis. I was talking about governance, but the governance first, it's a human governance. So the governance we are creating with Angels Network, will be the same, will be a duplicate in the technologies, you see. That means, by example, now I have launched again a project I have created 2 years ago, which is calling Smiley. Smiley is a platform to help people, to help organizations, social services, to know if people are needing some help. You see, help. It is a monitoring system to know if these families has a lack of $20 this month. You see, or this person has problems with mental health. So we have to send them some organization to be sure they will be in good, they have a good life, you see. And this platform, it is useful for a lot of purpose, but now I have launched it about the food crisis and energy crisis, because we can provide a special currency, a special token, which is not indexed of the global market. That means that we want to stop the rise of the prices
Yeah.
You see, and we want people to be able to feed themselves with survival goods. But even if it's survival, it is important
Yeah.
because it can help to fight the famine.
Yeah.
Because in some parts of the world, the famine are still existing, but with this crisis, in the next 3 years, we will see the famine arriving in some part of the world we didn't expect, you see.
Yeah.
So that's why we are working on this project with agriculture, with NGOs and social services, which are members of us, you see.
Yeah. So thank you very much for that. So Virginie, tell us what's your secret formula to your success?
What I think is a success for me.
Yeah, because you're doing quite great things on those three different strands there. How what's your secret formula to your success?
Hope, I think.
Yeah.
The most important for everyone is to
Mm.
keep hope in your mind, because with no hope, there is no future. Trust, hope, and it is the first pillar to create a fair world. And now we are trying to go this way, and we want to create a fair world and web 3.0, because a mix between digital and between humanity.
Yeah.
Because in the old world, in Middle Age, in Occident, people were dealing about 100 of people, you see. Now we are worldwide. So we are not governing 100 of people or 1,000 of people of 1 million. You see, it is much bigger than that, you see. So a community can be, by example, all the population who have dyslexia. It is a community, you know. So we can help them to have a better life with dyslexia, you see. You have global communities now, not only local. We have local communities, we have village and so on, but we have global communities of millions of people. So, and it is difficult to govern millions of people only with human interaction. So that's why we have created, I have imagined, you see, breakfast technologies. It is underlayer technologies to create new kind of platform to govern organization, companies, or victims, or families. You see, all kind of communities who want to go in a fair world. Because I want to go in the fair, and it's, you know, it's clear we are going to create a kind of disconnection between the dark web and our fair world. It's clear. We have it is our position to be, but what we want is to create a protected area for the children, most for the children, to help them to go to the wealth and to a good future, you see. Because they don't need to be in trafficking, they don't need to see bad pictures on the television, they don't need the children, you know, is the future of humanity. And the little children from their birth to 4 years old, if they had a good quality of life, they will be marvelous people in the future. If they had post-traumatic shock between the birth and 4 years old, they could have, if they are not helped, they could be people with a lot of problems, and who can go in not a good ways, because they have these shocks when they were little children.
Yeah, no, understood. We're coming to a close now, Virginie. Anything that you want to say in the next 30 seconds as a closing message?
If some people want to do the fair with us, they can join us like as angels, you see, and create communities around them. And if these communities have problems, they can call me and ask me my expertise to help them to find the good solution. If it is not the best, it could be good solution to help them to go to wealth or to solve the problems they have now in their community. So it is. Okay. I am very accessible for people who need help, and we try to help them the best we can.
Wonderful, Virginie. That's wonderful. It's great work that you're doing on those three strands, and the governance aspect is such an important piece as you were describing. And we need to be looking at the future, and all of this takes a lot of time, and you as a leader are bringing in that effort and that passion, and you're bringing different leaders and companies together, which is such an important aspect. So well done you for that. And thank you very much for keeping us, or trying to enable the whole world safe as well. So thank you.
Thank you to have invited me. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Much. Thank you very much, Virginie, for being with us today and sharing your journey. Thank you. And we will continue to stay in contact.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, I hope you enjoy the podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You're now seeing this part of the video, also because you consume some of my content, insights, and teachings. Maybe you've been to my LinkedIn page or website, or seen other social media ads, or listened to my podcast. I'm Stephen Paul, a business and transformational executive coach, strategic advisor, leader, and board member. I've been in diverse roles: corporate executive, entrepreneur, and worked with businesses and firms of all sizes, built and launched businesses, created high-impact boards, and so forth in 4 continents. I get it. I've been there, done that. But what is different is I bring a unique perspective and a playbook. I've helped 100+ business leaders just like you to scale and align their leadership, top teams, the board, and overall business for growth. Leaders like Ivana from medium-sized company in the EU who grew 150% and expanded globally in under 5 months. After she started to work with me over facilitated sessions in an initial 3 days, I helped fine-tune their strategy and align their leadership team and board to be a cohesive driving force to achieve their dreams and outcomes. I want to teach you the same thing, and more on how to scale and align your leadership team and board so you can increase your business growth and value. Get clarity on what is the next right strategy for you. There are multiple ways we can work with you. Number 1, click the link for a free, non-obligatory 60-minute initial strategic session. Let's get a feel for your dreams, your vision, your challenges, and let me convert that into a route map for you where we can co-develop and co-pilot. Number 2, enroll in an innovative and intuitive digital online course that I have created to help you transform. It's called Unshakable Resilience. It is the ultimate program for individuals and business leaders like you who want to be equipped at a personal and professional level to respond to any form of challenges or in crisis situations and take on opportunities with grit, resilience, and build a mindset of success. In essence, you want to be unshakable, thrive in crisis, take on opportunities in the face of adversity, and build a success mindset. So, click the link below to learn more on how I can personally help you individually and your firm to scale and align your leadership team and business and pivot in a transformational way. And for you to experience this, Whatever the challenge you're facing, get in touch with me. Let's discuss, and I will share my insight rapidly to enable your transformation. Click the links below.